American Pickers fallout explained. What caused Frank and Mike to feud? The American Pickers fallout continues, outlasting the feud between the former co-stars. Following the tragic death of Frank Fritz, fans are divided over drama that surrounded the late American Pickers' star in life. Famously, Frank once clashed with his co-star, Mike Wolfe. Though they resolved their differences, that conflict left a memorable mark on the History Channel series. Who is to blame for the feud? Allegedly, American Pickers itself caused the problem. The erstwhile feud between American Pickers stars Frank Fritz and Mike Wolfe is part of the History Channel series' complicated legacy. On September 30, 2024, Frank passed away. He was only 60 years old and had suffered a stroke just 2 years earlier. Alongside his loved ones, 59-year-old Mike Wolfe was also by his side. The two stars reconciled following Frank's stroke, but had been at odds, not even on speaking terms, for years. In a new interview with the U.S. Sun, Jerry Genroe, a friend of the late Frank Fritz, explains the American Pickers fallout and which party he believes is to blame. Working with anybody on a daily basis for 10 or 15 years is tough, Jerry suggested. Mike is very, very scripted and knowledgeable about what he does. And Frank would shoot from the hip, Frank's friend characterized. According to Jerry, Mike Wolfe and Frank Fritz reconciled in the aftermath of Frank's stroke, because whatever happened between them, time always heals. That said, he knows that fans missed out on them making nice. I wish everything could have come around and ended with one season of them all reconciling, Jerry expressed. Previously, Jerry had opined that Frank would have happily returned to American Pickers if his health had been up to it. Fans may recall, Frank Fritz actually left American Pickers a couple of years prior to his stroke. He had numerous health problems. In 2020, he departed from filming to undergo back surgery. The show formally let him go in 2021. That was the same year when Frank shared his then-ongoing feud with Mike. He revealed that the two had not spoken in 2 years and accused Mike of having not called him to check on him. Frank also expressed frustrations at the time about the show, which he felt favored Mike very strongly. He accused Mike of wanting to replace him on American Pickers. Frank believed that Mike's brother, Robbie, would take his place, which ultimately turned out to be right on the money. As we mentioned, Mike Wolfe and Frank Fritz reconnected following Frank's 2022 stroke. Annoyance with a friend and coworker can drive people apart, but there's not enjoying clashing personalities and styles of working. And there's the reality of life and death. It sounds like Frank's friend clearly blames American Pickers for the drama. Reality TV stardom is truly a double-edged sword. The American Pickers show, known for its adventurous treasure hunts through barns, basements, and backroads, captivated fans with not just the antiques and collectibles uncovered, but the lively camaraderie between its stars, Mike Wolfe and Frank Fritz. The pair seemed inseparable, hitting the road together for years and building a dynamic that fans came to love. Yet under the surface, cracks were forming, eventually leading to a shocking feud that would break apart the iconic duo. Here's a dive into what went wrong between Frank and Mike and why it mattered to fans. The foundation of friendship. Mike Wolfe and Frank Fritz's bond started well before American Pickers was even a concept. They grew up together in Iowa, sharing a passion for collecting what others discarded. Over time, their shared hobby grew into a professional pursuit, and in 2010, History Channel debuted American Pickers, bringing their small-town charm and unique finds into the spotlight. Their journey from childhood friends to business partners seemed seamless. They balanced each other out, with Mike's charisma and Frank's down-to-earth, relatable demeanor making them a perfect team. From the beginning, fans sensed that Mike was the driving force behind the operation. As the show's creator and executive producer, he was the visionary. Frank's role was equally essential, though more in the best friend capacity. Their chemistry provided the spark that fueled the show's success. But behind the scenes, that friendship was more complex than it appeared. Behind-the-scenes friction. Rumors of tension between Frank and Mike circulated for years. The first major sign of trouble appeared in 2020 when Frank took an extended break from the show, citing health issues. He openly discussed his battles with Crohn's disease and various surgeries, making it seem as though his hiatus was purely a matter of self-care. However, Frank's absence extended beyond what fans anticipated, and Mike continued the show with other pickers, including his brother, Ravi, stepping in to fill the void. When Frank remained off-air, even as the show continued filming, fans began speculating about a rift. Then, in 2021, History Channel confirmed what many had feared. Frank would not return to American Pickers. It was a turning point for the show, sparking intense reactions from fans and reigniting rumors of bad blood between the longtime friends. The public fallout. Shortly after his departure was announced, Frank spoke out in a series of interviews, hinting that his relationship with Mike was strained. He expressed disappointment with how his exit was handled and implied that Mike had not been supportive during his health struggles. Frank even claimed that he hadn't spoken to Mike in years, which shocked fans who had watched them laugh and bicker on screen for over a decade. According to Frank, Mike had moved on from their friendship, prioritizing his own interests. He alleged that while he was away, dealing with his health, Mike had taken control of the show and moved forward without him. "I would like to come back to the show," Frank said. "I was excited, but Mike didn't contact me about returning." These statements painted a picture of two friends who had drifted apart not just in business, but also personally. Mike, in response, maintained a more measured silence, briefly addressing Frank's departure in a social media post where he wished his former co-star well. Mike's apparent reluctance to delve into the details only fueled more speculation, leaving many wondering if there was more to the story. Business, ego, and fame. As with many successful partnerships, business and fame likely played significant roles in Mike and Frank's fallout. Mike's position as the creator and face of American Pickers naturally placed him in a dominant role. Though Frank was an essential part of the show's appeal, Mike's creative control meant he was ultimately in charge of its direction. This power dynamic may have fostered resentment, especially as the show's popularity grew. Moreover, fame can often be a double-edged sword, and American Pickers turned Mike and Frank into celebrities in their own right. The pressures of maintaining a public persona while managing personal conflicts can strain any relationship. Over time, the camaraderie they shared might have evolved into competition or frustration, particularly if one partner felt overlooked or underappreciated. The role of health issues. Frank's health problems, including his battle with Crohn's disease, multiple surgeries, and a stint in rehab for alcohol addiction, also took a toll on their partnership. Though Frank was transparent about his struggles, he insinuated that he felt unsupported by Mike. Frank implied that Mike distanced himself during these difficult times, choosing to prioritize the show and its continuity over their friendship. On the flip side, Mike's silence might suggest that he felt burdened by the responsibilities of managing the show without Frank. Rather than publicly address the situation, Mike appeared to focus on keeping American Pickers going, even if it meant filling Frank's role with others. While practical from a business standpoint, this decision likely deepened the personal divide between them. Fan reactions and the impact on the show. The fallout had a significant impact not only on the dynamic of American Pickers, but also on its fan base. Loyal viewers who had invested years in Mike and Frank's journey felt betrayed and disappointed by this sudden, messy split. Many fans took sides, either supporting Frank's claims of abandonment or defending Mike's decision to carry on. In particular, the absence of an official, detailed explanation left fans feeling as though the narrative they had been fed for years was merely a facade. The unexplained departure of a beloved star highlighted the complexities of reality television, where on-screen friendships don't always translate to real-life loyalty. What's next for Mike and Frank? Since his departure, Frank has hinted at a possible solo project, though details remain sparse. Some fans hope for a reconciliation, envisioning a future where the pair might reunite, even if just for a special episode. However, given the nature of their fallout, a true reconciliation seems unlikely. Mike, meanwhile, has continued American Pickers without Frank, though fan reaction has been mixed. The show still has its dedicated viewers, but many argue that the original spark was lost when Frank left. Despite Robbie and other co-pickers stepping in, the unique dynamic Mike and Frank shared was irreplaceable, underscoring just how much their friendship meant to the show's appeal.